All right, hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As you can see from the title of this video, today we are going to be vibe coding with the new Claude-Haiku 4.5 model. This model came out yesterday, October 15th. Actually, I was live on stream yesterday when it came out, so we were trying it a bit yesterday, but this morning I actually want to try it out inside of Claude Code. And in this video, we're going to be working on 7 different tasks in our Trello board associated with ViewCreator, which is the app that we've been working on, which is an all-in-one platform for influencers, content creators, and brands to create viral content. So we've had a huge week so far this week, and this new model is very exciting now that it's come out. And let's check out the benchmarks. So let me zoom in a little bit here. Actually, I'll just expand it so you guys see a little better. So the benchmarks are pretty impressive. So when comparing Haiku 4.5 to Sonnet, it's about 4%, 3.9% less on the Software Engineer Bench Verified benchmark. And then comparing to GPT-5, it actually performs better in terms of accuracy compared to GPT-5. So that's very, very impressive. And then something else to note is also the pricing. So Claude 4.5 Haiku is $1 per million tokens for the input, and then $5 per output per million, and compared that with Sonnet 4.5. So it's about 3 times the price. Or a third of the price compared to 4.5 Sonnet. So this was the Cheetah model in Cursor. It has been confirmed that the model that was released that was unknown in Cursor, which was called Cheetah, has been confirmed to be the Claude-Haiku 4.5 model. And that makes sense because when I was using that model, it was incredibly fast, but it also wasn't like super intelligent. So that's kind of what I've experienced so far with Haiku 4.5, but now that it's actually inside of Claude Code, we're going to use it in Claude Code this morning, and like I said, we have 7 different tasks in our Trello board that we're going to be giving it, and we're going to be working with ViewCreator, and we're going to be working on a couple different tasks that I found that I'd like to work on this morning. So with that being said, let's just get right into it. The first thing to note is that I actually noticed is, so when you do a slash model, when trying to select a model, it's now available as a custom model. And for me, it didn't actually show up initially. So if it doesn't show up initially for you guys, in this command here that I'm highlighting, slash model Claude Haiku 4.5, that's how you actually can access it if it's not showing up for you. It wasn't showing up for me, so I had to actually input that command. It's essentially a custom model, so you have to do that. It wasn't in the selectors for me, so you may have the same experience, but it is now accessible in Claude Code. So let's just get started with our normal workflow. So I'm just going to drop, copy, and paste all of these different prompts that I've already prepared for different tasks. So this task here is going to be the animation effect when entering the playground. So I wanted to make it really cool as the layout changes. So essentially when users jump into this playground, which is where they're able to generate images and video, it's really important that they can now actually access that without it being like so jumpy. So I want it to essentially be like, hey, you're now entering the playground, and be like a cool animation. So that's what this one's going to work on here. So let's toss that in, and then the next one, so let's now move this to in progress. And like my normal workflow, I'll just expand this a little bit and show you guys how it works. So I give multiple agents different tasks that are working in different parts of the code base, and then I just label them so I can keep track of which terminal is working on what. So you can see the -2. The -2 means that it's working in that second terminal there. So let's now drop that in the second terminal. This one is going to review the layout of the playground page and then properly update our Spark page, which is essentially our AI marketing assistant. So this is the AI marketing assistant. And right now it doesn't look great because it has the sidebar. And I want to kind of create a similar look as the playground has, where you kind of enter the playground. I want the same look for Spark. I want it to have its own layout where users can actually have a sidebar of their conversation history. So I'm going to do that. That's what number 2 is working on. And then this one is, you guys can pause and read it. I pre-prepared it just so that we could kind of get a lot done and really put this to the test. You guys can pause the video and read the prompts that I'm giving it. But let's just drop that in there. And number 3, then here we are, number 4. Here's the prompt that I'm giving it, changing up a little bit of the pricing plans. So that's going to go in number 4. So this is terminal number 4 here. So let's drop that in there. And then let's move that to in progress. And then number 5. So this one actually has a screenshot as well. So we're going to need to expand that and drop the screenshot back in. Let's see here. So boom. drop that in, and then I'm gonna actually take the screenshot that I provided and just screenshot it and just redrop it back into Claude Code. So there's image 1. So that's terminal 5 running this prompt. So let's now move that to in progress. And number 6, essentially making sure that there's no security vulnerabilities inside of our UI to make sure that, hey, nothing vulnerable is being logged to the console. Just kind of a double check there. And then same thing with the API, kind of a check on, hey, make sure that, when people are probing our application that they don't get, sensitive information. So there we go. So wow, so 2 of them are already finished. So 1 and 2 have already come back to me and they're saying, hey, I'm ready. So it says, it said, the ViewCreator code base is well structured, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, yes, I want it to proceed. Would you like me to proceed with this plan? Storage. So this is the one with the Spark conversation. Okay, so this is gonna be browser. I'm gonna say, so I do ultimately want to use the backend API for storing the conversation history, but right now, actually, I'm gonna need to check the code base. How does it work? So for example, when users start a conversation with Spark, is it kick off a Spark job, or how does this work currently? All right, so let's just check with Haiku to see how does that actually work. This one's done here, so it says, would you like me to proceed with this plan? So phase 1, upgrade the styling, yes. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So it's gonna add the banners for that free tool. Yes, continue with the plan. So we're going to proceed with that plan. Let's now check terminal 4 to see if that's back. So one thing about this model is it is an incredibly fast model. So, something interesting is like, boom, this one's already done as well. So I'm also going to do yes, continue with all here. And this is a very, very fast model is what I'm seeing. And that's what we saw with Cheetah when we were using Cheetah. But you can see that a lot of these are already coming back to me. Yes, and don't ask again for tree commands. Yes, okay. We're gonna do that. So Claude Code is going just super fast with this Haiku model. And there's good parts about that, but then there's also some drawbacks. Like my thoughts on it are, we're able to work on a lot of different tasks at once, but sometimes it's better to have it take a little bit of extra time so that you can give these different tasks and then make sure that it's actually doing the right thing. And sometimes, when you have a smarter model, whether it's, 4.1 Opus or GPT-5 Codex High, these smarter models, they take more time, which kind of allows you to manage the, the different agents all at once a little bit better, and it then is a little bit more accurate. So definitely different things that are good about it. So it says use the display name plus role. This gives you professional. Okay. Continue with option 1. All right. So we're managing these 7 agents. Continue with next steps. Something that I like about Claude Code is that it gives you a flash. Proceed. It gives you a flash when the agent is, ready to proceed, and it's like, hey, I'm ready to start working again. Proceed. Conversation history. So this actually wants to create a lot of logic. So essentially it's coming back to me and said, hey, for backend conversation history, you're going to need to create a new database entity. So this is, but really first create an MD file with a structured plan before implementing any updates. And then come back to me once that MD file is created and you are ready to proceed. Okay, so we're going to do that. Yes, allow all updates. So this one is going to create some updates to our database, and this one's doing an exploration report. So yeah, one thing about Claude Sonnet 4.5 Haiku, super fast. I'm managing these agents, and I have to actually be like really, really hands-on. Sometimes with a model like GPT-5 Codex High, or if you're using, I don't use Opus 4.1 very often just because it is so expensive. But you can see that, hey, I am managing these models in a way that they're coming back to me really fast. They're all completing. So this one says implement following up. Okay. All right, so this one's now done. But this was like a super simple feature. So this one here, let's actually now launch localhost and make sure that some of these features as they come in, that we actually double check the work. So this one here was working on the, if I go to platform tools, when I go to the tools page, it should now essentially warn me that I only have one free use, depending on my plan. which this plan is it is a pro plan, isn't it? So there's a lot of updates going in right now. Let's see here. So what is this? We may have to start. We may have to sign up with a free plan first. Let's actually sign out, and then let's actually sign back in. Let's create a new account just with a free plan. So let's click Start Free Trial, get started for free, and then let's just create a new free option. Do 2001. Okay, so let's just create. Oh man, there's so many updates going on. It may be hard because the we're in next dev, so we still have the problem. We may just restart, but all right, let's see if we can get that. Boom. All right, cool. So I'm gonna open up my email now. Let's see here, get my verification code. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty impressed. It's a really fast model. We'll see by the end of this video, like, hey, how intelligent is it really? Hey, it does say that it is better than GPT-5, which is pretty impressive. For a model that is that much faster. This model is faster than ChatGPT 3.5, or GPT 3.5, if you guys remember how fast that model was. Something else that I want to do real quick, let's just actually launch another browser here and just quickly do an update here. This page is completely off theme from the application. Please update it with the light mode and dark mode and the correct themes. Take a look at the themes of the dashboard page. All right, so we're gonna update this real quick. But for example, like, let's see how fast this goes, because this is a pretty simple task, right? Like, hey, all it's gonna have to do is it's gonna have to take a look at the the dashboard page and see, like, hey, what's the styling of the application, right? And then what's like the Tailwind config file look like? And it's already doing that. Found 48 files, so it's reviewing all this, and then it should be able to implement some updates pretty easily here. Let's now actually integrate these updates. So the Spark conversation plan in this agent is activating. Let's go over here and launch. So these are now waiting for confirmation here. So we'll continue there. This one is done. But again, to test this, we had to sign up for a free plan, because I think the account that I had was a pro plan. And essentially what what that agent was doing is now that we have the free plan and we're spending money on sponsorships and stuff, or paid ads, we can't have people that are abusing our free plan. So essentially what we did to counteract that is, hey, we do give free users credits in terms of, hey, you do get 50 free credits so that you can actually try things when you sign up, but we can't have people abusing that free plan. So essentially what we did is we created a entitlements logic where users can actually only use, they can only use one tool per day. And if you want unlimited tool usage, you're going to have to upgrade to the pro subscription to get that unlimited tool usage. All right, so here is the update going in. Let's see how that does. So that's going in now. Previous, new refresh. So it's adding the dark theme. So on that. I mean, is it? We can come back to this, but let's test something else real quick while that's still working. We can come back to the welcome tour after. Let's finish the tour. So now let's go back. You see we have 50 credits, and let's go to the platform tools page and go to the thumbnail generator. And so here's an issue, is that I want this to basically say, hey, you can't you can't have more than one tool usage. I just did a test on this, so it's going to output a goofy looking thumbnail here, but I want to make sure that entitlements logic is still set up correctly. So there's a test. So then when I do another test, it should, okay, so it says, hey, you've reached today's thumbnail limit, which is great, right? So this is great. This is working correctly. But the problem is that for this agent here, I'm pretty sure, let's just double check with this. I'm pretty sure let's go back to our Trello board. And this is why it's helpful to label the agent. So I'm pretty sure that was number 3, but let's just confirm that number 3 was correct. It was take note of how the JSON. Okay, so it tells the user, hey, since you're on the free plan, you can only use 1 per day. And I'm not seeing that. So let's go back over and kind of let this agent know that, hey, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing the 1 tool usage per day. All right, so I'm gonna say, take a look at the images and note that it is not showing the alerts that they only have 1 tool usage per day, and that needs to change because I no longer see that. And on the playground page, it was the same thing. Your updates actually removed that UI from displaying. So figure out why this happened and then update the code so that it actually does show essentially how many tool usages they have per day since they are on the free plan, if they are on the free plan, because it didn't actually show. So think deeply about this and figure out why the UI is no longer showing and then update accordingly. All right, so let's go here. So maybe it was an issue with this. I am seeing some issues in the API. So it may have been that. Let's launch. Let's say yes here. Yes, I want you to proceed. And I'm gonna say fix the errors in the API here. So check tool use decorator. So I think that this is the reason that that's happening, is that, hey, so before I update this, I want to have this agent actually take a look at our issues here, because we are having a couple issues in the API. So before we actually move forward and fix that, let's actually fix these errors, because the problem that we're having here that we just gave a prompt for, it may be associated with these errors that we're having, in the fact that, hey, if you have issues in a Nest API and you're running in dev mode, it's not going to allow those changes to go into effect. So let's allow this agent to do that. Also, let's take a look at this. It looks like this one is now done, status complete. This one also says done, which was the profile sidebar. So this was changing. Okay. Right now, it still shows the email. It should never show the email, even if the user doesn't have a name. Change this. All right, so I'm not sure exactly why that did not update, because that was a pretty easy feature to implement. So, something that I'm noticing is, okay, there we go. Okay, so it was a fallback. It says, so essentially it was falling back to email since I didn't have a first name or last name, so it's just falling back now to user. I don't really want it falling back to anything. I don't want it to fall back to user. I just want to show the user's role. So for example, in this case, creator, just, center creator and have it big, bold creator of the user's role. All right, so that's a little bit better. So that was our problem. So we just had to be a little bit more elaborate in our approach. So let's now check the terminal here and see. Okay, so it looks like we're still having a couple issues. So, I mean, that's the, what I'm noticing, guys, if I'm being completely honest, the model is really fast, but, you guys are seeing essentially that, hey, it's fast, but it's not getting done. Like, hey, for example, if I had pasted these errors into GPT-5 Codex, it would have easily been able to one-shot it. It would have been able to, have the compute to be able to say, okay, like what's going on here? What's causing these issues? And let's fix them. And it would have gotten it on the first try. But with Haiku, that's not happening. I guess now it looks like, did it create a plan? Is that what it did? Did it create a plan initially? Because I may be wrong. Let's see. I mean, it did just fix those 3 errors, so I may be wrong. It did just fix those. It's now saying now that the enterprise is fully integrated into the type system, all record. Okay, but now we still have this issue here. So I'm going to say fix this. So I mean, the verdict's still out, guys. Let's see where we get after we fix this, because once we fix this last error, we should be able to test this agent, which I believe was erroring because the API had some issues with it. So let's see if that works, and then we'll kind of make a judgment from there. Let's see if this works. Testing. Oh, I need to run npm migration run, don't I? Okay, so npm run migration generate. So let's see if that was created. So migration created successfully. Let's now run this. Okay, and then let's start back the API again, because if you guys remember, we did add in this agent. This agent was essentially working on, this here. So now we have this problem. All right. Fix the error. You did not fix this. So yeah, guys, I mean, hey, really fast model, but in terms of being able to one-shot stuff and to actually get it working as intended, I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about it, just because it's like, hey, I mean, I should be able to be one-shotting these issues. GPT-5 would be able to one-shot these issues. I mean, let's see, it's still struggling to get this, which is a issue with the import statements. It's a circular dependency between models. I mean, this is relatively a pretty easy issue to solve, right? So I mean, let's just test this out. Let's launch Codex, and let's just go to, let's not use like even like a really that powerful of a Codex model. I mean, I feel like I don't even think that this is that difficult of an error. So let's just switch to GPT-5 Codex, and let's go to low, and let's paste this error in and just say fix this. And let's see how, you know, Codex is able to solve this. And I think that this is going to give us a good comparison because, hey, we've been working with Haiku. We tried Haiku to solve this. We gave it 3 tries. And yes, it was really fast, and it was able to come back to me, but it didn't actually solve our issue. So, you know, that's what, you know, you have to consider is like, hey, when you're doing model selection, when you're trying to decide, hey, what model should I use for which purposes, it's like, hey, Haiku 4.5 for all purposes is not going to be the move. It's, you know, it's a fast model, but hey, 3 tries on a simple error like this one is not normal. It's not normal. So, you know, what's interesting is that, hey, you can even see with GPT-5 Codex low, which low is obviously kind of like the lower compute. It's going to take less time. It's thinking longer than Claude 4.5 Haiku did. But let's just see this. I think this is a good test to see, hey, is it going to get this done right? So let's work on a couple of these other agents that we're also implementing that. Looks like this is still not getting it. Updating plan progress. So maybe this is just a persistent error. I mean, it's saying that it's still not working quite yet. So proceed. So we're gonna give this agent a shot here as well. And I wanna keep this video short. I don't wanna get too long. We're already at 21 minutes, but I hope this is giving you guys a good picture of this new model, because obviously, you know, anytime a new model comes out or a new tool comes out, you should be, you know, reviewing it and really trying to figure out, okay, like how can I integrate this model into my workflow? You know, I don't like to overjudge models. I like to just kind of evaluate them and just be honest and say, okay, like how can this model be integrated? And, you know, I must just have some, okay. All right, so this is a perfect example, guys. This is actually a perfect example. You know, we'll give, you know, Haiku some time. You know, maybe Anthropic is figuring out some of the issues with it, but the Haiku models in general, what they're known for is they're smaller models that are super fast but less intelligent, right? They're gonna be less expensive, they're gonna be super fast, but they're gonna be, you know, less intelligent. And, you know, even using GPT-5 low, I don't care what the benchmarks say. You know, even with this error, the simple, which it was a simple circular dependency error, you know, we had that error. We dropped it into Haiku 4.5 3 different times, and it was not able to figure out the circular dependency problem, which is a simple error. And then we drop it into GPT-5 low, and GPT-5 low was able to validate it. It tried to update it. It noticed that the updates didn't work. So then it tried again, and then it worked, and now it's still summarizing, and it kind of confirms that it works. So, you know, this is an interesting, you know, comparison, because you could say that GPT-5 Codex low is kind of the OpenAI's equivalent, because it is the smaller, lower compute model that's less expensive, to Haiku 4.5. So just that fact alone, where, hey, Codex was able to solve that issue one shot, and Haiku literally had 3 tries, it was fast, but it didn't get it. It didn't solve my problem. So definitely something to note there. And now with that being done, let's go check to see if, hey, some of these, I mean, look at this. Some of these issues, like, hey, you know, I wanted that creator to be centered bold, and it wrapped it underneath. And yes, for sure, at the end of the day, like, hey, that comes down to you as the programmer behind the scenes. Like, hey, if you are the one guiding the models, hey, ultimately it's up to you. So maybe I should have, you know, done a better job. I mean, let's just drop this into Haiku real quick. But you guys can see, like, obviously it created a wrapping error there. Take a look at the screenshot. Obviously, you did not correctly center or position this correctly because it's wrapping. Fix this. So, you know, I'll do a second shot and give it a try on the second shot, but I can guarantee you that this simple error, I mean, still, it's not understanding, you know, what I'm trying to say. I have to be more specific. The icon should be on the left, and the creator text bold, centered horizontally on the right, side by side. So, you know, I just have to be like super, super specific, I guess. So while Haiku, so that's a little bit better. You can make the creator or role text larger and more bold. So finally we got it after about 3, so super fast. You know, I could see this being a good option for people to be able to iterate very quickly on. You know, that could be a good way that you could use this model, is to just build very fast. But there's things like even this third one that we were doing, which take note of how on the playground image generation, it tells the users that if they only get 1 image generation per day since they are on the free plan. So we had, you know, essentially a banner that said, hey, you only get 1 free generation per day if you're on the free plan. And this was the task for number 3, and it didn't get it. It didn't fix it. So I think an issue that I have with this model is that if you have tasks like this in your workflow, I can guarantee you that if we had this task and we had dropped it into GPT-5 Codex High, it would have one-shotted it. So even though it would have taken longer, it would have gotten it right on the first try. So I think that the way to get Claude 4.5 Haiku into your workflow, if you want to work it into your workflow at all, is to just know that yes, the model is very fast, but it's going to be more of a build, iterate model rather than just pass the task off to the model and it thinks for a long time and it's able to one-shot it. Because for me, honestly, we probably kind of created a mess during this vibe coding session, because I was essentially approaching this with the same logic and the same workflow that I approach when I use Codex GPT-5 High, which essentially one-shots everything. I'm able to give it tasks, it thinks incredibly deeply about them, it creates great plans on how it's going to integrate the updates, and this, not so much. It did not do that. It actually failed on a lot of our tasks that we had. So I'm gonna leave these in progress. I didn't want this video to get too long. Usually, you know, I like doing the model reviews, but this, I would say, I'm like not very impressed with Haiku in terms of its intelligence. Speed, 100%. I mean, obviously like one of the fastest models on the market. But even like this, I mean, where is our Spark layout? Our Spark layout was never created. And I can guarantee you guys, like, hey, if we dropped this into GPT-5 Codex High, it would have one-shotted all those tasks. So just something to note. I definitely like the model. It's definitely an interesting model, very fast, but probably not something that I'm gonna integrate daily into my personal workflow, just because I like being able to hand off tasks to the AI that are gonna do them right on the first try, rather than you know, having to work so in depth with the AI and, you know, iterate so much. I like to work with multiple agents at once. So probably not something that I'm going to use personally, but definitely an interesting model from Anthropic. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys later today. I'll be streaming at 10 a.m., continuing our Vibe Coding an App Until I Make $1 Million series. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the future.